Hello, 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 and welcome to another session of Let's Get Real with Mona. That's me, Mona Naidu, abundant living specialist and women's empowerment coach. Now, how awesome is it today? Today is 22/08/22. If you know me by now, you know that I love working with not just the physical aspects of life, but looking at the spiritual aspects of life, looking at numerology, looking at astrology, looking at the meaning of symbols and signs, because I guess that's what expansion, true expansion, is really about. It's not only the qualifications we get when we go to university or we go off to college and we get certificates for doing stuff. It's about those other things that are combined. Because you see, our expansion is not just on the spiritual level or just on the physical material level. It occurs in both realms. It's in both levels. And we get to bring them both together to work with it so we can align to our abundance, right? So, how are you doing? I mean, we're in the final stretch of August. And as you know, we've had some seriously expansive energies this month. Whether you wanted to or not, things were shifting. Whether you were aware or not, things were shifting. And I guess that's what I love sharing with you through these interactions, through this platform, is how to work with whatever's happening in our lives currently, how to work with the frequencies, the energies to change our vibration so that you can be inspired to turn your dreams into reality. Now, as I said, this week is just phenomenal. And when I think about the subject that we're going to be talking about today, our topic for today, it is perfectly aligned with the energetics of this week. And yes, this week we are still talking about expansion, but we are talking about your messages from money about your expansion. Now, for those of you who didn't know or who don't know me very well, money is my number one favorite topic. And yes, I teach about the spirituality of money. I teach about the spiritual side of money as well as the practical side of money. And that's why I said to you, I love merging the spiritual and the material worlds because they both have to coexist for us to live our abundant lives. Now, did you know, as I've shared, the energetics of this week is just powerful. It's just so powerful to support us with everything that's happening in the world right now. And we are being asked to focus this week on material financial wealth. That's, so relevant right now, especially if one looks at what's happening in the world. I've heard people, you've seen Facebook posts where people are talking about rising costs of food, fuel, basically high inflation, and that everything's just spiraling when it comes to money. And what do you think comes with that? Yes, anxiousness, anxiety, stress levels peak. But when we can understand that everything's happening for our growth and expansion, then we get to look and interact with life differently, right? Because here's the thing, the universe is constantly communicating with us. When we ask for something or we ask to become something or do something, the universe responds. right? But we then are guided to take action. It may be changing a habit, it may be taking on a new practice, it may be to go talk to someone, it may be to look at what the message is from your money. Now, do you take the time to listen? There's so many different aspects speaking to us at different times of the day, different times in our life. And I love the messages that come through money because we have such a profound relationship with money, if you did not know that already. And for me, money is constantly teaching me something about me. Money is constantly highlighting a behavior, a limiting belief. It's constantly showing me whether I'm in flow with my abundance or whether I'm, all tight and wound up and I'm far away from my abundance. Now, did you know that money gives us that many messages? Did you know that money shows you something about you every single day? Money shows you whether you're growing and evolving or whether you're stuck and in a box and not sure how to move out. This is what money does. It's actually so amazing for me when I started learning about money and the messages through money and how each step and my interaction with money, me learning about it, me then interacting differently with it. Well, that's why I get to sit here today and share the wisdom that I have learned with you. Because do you know that's also a message from money? When we are able to share what we have with others. Because here's the thing, when you're willing to share what you learn and what you know with others, you're freely spreading the abundance. You're freely sharing opportunities with others. You freely sharing everything that comes your way with others. And not many people understand that this is actually a message from money. Because what do you think is behind it? Why do we share freely when we're in such an expansive state? It's because we're not afraid that there wouldn't be enough for us. And this is a big thing about money. Now, it doesn't matter how much you have in the bank. It's all about how you relate to money. Now, you see, when we understand that everything in our life, doesn't matter what's going on, doesn't matter what it is, it can be an animate object or an inanimate object, that there's constant feedback coming to us. And every time we understand that there's something in front of us, whether it's good or whether it's not so good, that it's helping us to expand our consciousness. Because raising your consciousness, expanding your awareness, ascension, doesn't happen in a linear way. It doesn't happen in, a textbook kind of way. It happens in everyday life. It happens in every area of our life. For some people, one area may be more pronounced than the other. And that's where you look for the message. And I know one thing through my studies, my research, my interaction with clients. Money is one of the most fundamental areas for every single person on this planet, which shows us, like I've shared, who we are. It helps us to grow each time we shift through a money challenge of some form. And you'd be surprised, you may not even understand that a lot of challenges in your life, if you go behind it and behind it and behind it to the source, to the root, there's something related to money behind it. So if you weren't aware of this already, this is something for you to start having a different outlook on, right? And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about this? How do you feel about it? Now, currently in South Africa, we are, now just think about how fabulous. This is the week when everybody's either submitting their provisional tax returns or they're getting it ready. Well, I hope you've already got everything in place. So you can imagine money is such a big thing in the provisional tax scene right now. It's for businesses, doesn't matter what size of business you are, and it's also for individuals who get, different streams of income besides just being a salaried employee. So money is all around us, the frequency of money. Now, what do you think's happening with most people when it comes to provisional taxes? It doesn't matter whether it is huge businesses or an average person on the street who's submitting provisional tax return. It is full of anxiety because what happens when it comes to provisional tax, especially for, and I'm going to put this in quotes, small businesses, because that's a conversation for another day when we term ourselves small businesses and we stick to that smallness. Well, people don't have good management skills. So what do you think's happening? Money's darting in every angle. And what do you think happens the more anxiety we have about money? Well, we're going to have more reasons to increase and expand that anxiety. So when I'm talking about expansion, I'm not talking about expansion of all the negative things in your life. I'm talking about the expansion of all the good, the abundance in your life. I'm talking about you expanding as an individual, you expanding your consciousness, you ascending to the next level of your consciousness. So there's so much to talk about tax season, but here's one thing that I know. Remember, I've worked in the tax environment. I used to be involved in tax prosecutions. I've worked with money crimes for such a long time. So this is why I love bringing lightness into tax, into money, because the more anxiety we have around money, if right now you're in South Africa and you're submitting your tax return, and remember, this information is relevant no matter where you are in the world. You know how you get when it's time to submit your tax return, even if you're a salaried employee. When it comes to the submission of tax returns, because there's money behind it, there's a money link to it, people get anxious because you're wondering, do I have to pay in? What's going to happen? Did I do this correctly? Did I not do this? And then on the other hand, we have people who are deliberately manipulating the information they're putting in there, who are deliberately lying about how much came in, and then are withholding tax or paying taxes. So imagine this energy that goes out. So if you're someone who's listening to this and you don't fully declare your taxes, well, what do you think you're going to attract? You may think you're saving or you're withholding and you're sorting the tax man out, but that energy is going to come back to you. Remember, integrity and honesty applies to every area of our lives. And even though we don't like the way people who are in charge of our governments and our fiscus dealing with our money, when we get anxious, when we do something wrong, and I'm using the word wrong according to the laws of the country, when we do something wrong with the paying of taxes, we hold that energy with us. And then that money will slip out somewhere else because we don't get to keep what's not ours. We don't get to keep money when we have acquired it incorrectly. Right? So, like I told you, money is a fabulous subject, but I want to bring some lightness into it right now. So, tax season, what do you want to do? You want to be excited, but you can only be excited if you put everything, the structures in place to be excited to have the money to pay over. And I do believe that this is going to be a topic for another time, some training, perhaps a master class. So let me know if you want to know how to be in ease and flow during tax season, especially if you have a business, right? So when I think about money and the messages from money, for me, money, well, this is what happens. I'm my money type, and this is what I teach my clients about. So if you're also interested in knowing your money type, do reach out to me and watch out for some trainings that's going to be coming up on this. I'm a saver. That's my innate way, being a saver. So for me, whenever I have to pay more for something, or I have to pay for something that's a higher price, well, that's when I see my limiting beliefs coming into it. That's when I notice the sensations in my body. And remember, in the last session, we spoke about how does our money speak, how what messages our body gives to us about our expansion. So for me, every time I have to shift a belief, a limiting belief about money, a block about money, because that too we have if you did not know that. Well, I'm generally being asked to go and have an experience that costs a certain amount. I'm being asked to spend because remember, when you're a saver, you don't want to spend. So, what's the message that the universe brings to me? Mona, I want you to go out and I want to see how comfortable you are with spending X amount. Because remember, each time we go to a level, we've expanded our consciousness, our awareness, our ability to do something. So for me, the reason why I love teaching about money is because that's the biggest, shall I say, the core project that's been there for me to evolve through my background, through the country that I've grown up in. Money and wealth is a big core project. Notice I didn't say issue because the word project is actually so much more lighter and fun. So I'm always being encouraged. And you know what? Tomorrow, I am off with my husband, Vis, our son, Theo, and his girlfriend to have a luxury experience. And I'm not sharing much now just in case they hear about it because it's still a surprise where we're going. And at some point, I will share with you the challenges I had to actually getting to confirm the date for this week because there were so many different things about how can I be so frivolous? How can I spend this amount of money? Is this the right thing to be doing at this time? Just think about what's happening in the world. So that's my money messages. Me feeling guilty to spend money on something extravagant and luxurious. And then it's like, should I be spending this money when, people are starving? Should I allow myself to enjoy such pleasures in life? And every time I make that decision to step through that, to spend that money, and the best part is this, whether it's my money or it's Vis wanting to spend the money, I'm the same way. It's not like I let Vis spend his money because he's spending it and I, can save and hold on to my money. No. So this is how my expansion shows up every time related to money. What is it for you? Have you even paid attention to what it can be for you? Now, what I loved about it when I asked the question earlier today is what is your message from money? And I loved what Ilse van Balen a dear friend and who's also in my community shared. She said that the message from money for her is money is love. Now, how do you feel about that? That money is love? Because for me, that is how I get to experience it. When I see how generously people share money with me, and just by the way, when I say money, I'm talking about money in its various forms, because here's another thing. When we don't see money showing up in its various forms, we then think that money isn't there. But money is constantly around us. So when Ilse shared that her message from money is that money is love, I'm yes, spot on. Because the only time that we're going to change the way money is perceived in this world, the way money is judged and questioned and seen as the bad guy, is when we realize that money is just energy. And the energy that I attach to money, like Ilse does, is that money is love. Because you see, until you can see that money is merely energy and we give it meaning, money is going to keep sending us messages. Money is going to show us when we are in flow with it, or money is going to show us when we are not in flow with it. And either way, it's not a bad thing. When money is showing us that it's slipping away from us, it's for us to stop. Ask, what is the belief behind this? Or maybe, what's my block? Like, what's blocking me? Because there's always some story behind it, a source. So, what is it for you? What are the messages from money about your expansion? Because remember, we can't go to our next level. We can't have what we desire. We can't have the business. We can't be who we want to be in the world. We can't experience, like me, the next level of an experience that I want to have without shifting what it is that money is communicating to us. So, right now, for you, what is money communicating to you? What's the messages coming your way? And are you willing to work through it? Because you see, the projects, the challenges that come into our life is not to keep us on the same level, it's not to harm us and hurt us. It's to help us move to the next level of our abundance, whatever that is for us. It's for spiritual growth, emotional growth, physical growth, financial growth, relationship, health, wellness, service, impact. This is how huge the impact of money really is. So I'm sure you realize by now, for me, this subject of money, and I do believe that I'm going to be sharing more and speaking more openly with you about my relationship with money. So you can see through that what your relationship is like. Because this wisdom about money, we've never been taught that we get to grow and evolve through our relationship with money. We've never been taught that we even have a relationship with money. And until we can get that relationship right, you see, that's where the physical relationship is. Everything else will fall into place. But if you really want to know who you are, check out your relationship with money. And this is why I love teaching about it. This is why I love coaching people about money. Because really, magic starts to happen. And things that open up in your life, when you understand the messages from money, it's as if it's happening by magic. The ease and flow that comes through it. And like me, if you're like me, money stirs up this emotion of anxiety in me whenever I have to evolve through its messages. And yes, sometimes it can happen quite quickly. Sometimes it can be a bit challenging and it may take a few months before the core issue is discovered and then shifted. So, how are you feeling right now about money? Can you even like identify the messages that money's been sending to you? And just by the way, when we have to shift our mindset about money, when it's time for us to shift a belief about money, when it's time for us to get unstuck somewhere in our life about money, something will happen in your space. And it would seem, very often, it would seem that money is either stopped, or it would seem that you're having to spend money. These, unplanned expenses show up. So pay attention. Does it seem like money stopped? The flow of it has stopped? Or does it seem like you're having to spend more than you would have wanted to spend? Pay attention to these messages. And when I say spending unnecessarily or for unplanned events, it could be for the washing machine, not working anymore, or your fridge, or your electric gates, or your garage, electric garage doors, your electric fence. It could be water leakages in your home. It could be different things. It could be your car tire that needs to be replaced. So pay attention. The subject about money and your expansion, it is so intertwined. And for me, I can spend hours talking about this because I have seen amazing results with my clients. When I think about my clients stepping away from their day job to go start a business to help and teach people how to sew. When I think about my client shifting her job because she was so afraid that there wouldn't be anything better out there for her, and then traveling more than she'd even planned to. When I think about another client who is able to travel all over her country in exchange for board and lodge, and she gets to meet and interact with new people, that this is how money shows up for her and for each of these other women. You see, this is what true empowerment of money is. This is what true financial freedom is. So I'd love to know from you, what is it? What insights? What ahas? Where did the penny drop from today's session with you? What is it that you've become aware of that you may not have been aware of before? Have you finally understood what the messages from money is for you? And hey, if you need support with understanding and deciphering the messages from money, pop me an email at support@princessmona.com, or leave a comment on this video in YouTube or in the Facebook page. But communicate, because this journey is not meant to be done alone. Together, we are stronger. So I'm going to leave you with that for now, because like I say, I think we're going to have many, many, many more conversations with money, about money. Did I say with money? Well, with money too. Why not? I'm going to teach you how to have conversations with money. So watch out for those videos and those sessions and those trainings coming up, because just this is it. Until you understand that money is showing you that it is energy, and that we can view money as love and an expression of love when we send it out and when somebody gives it to us, then we will experience the beauty of this world. And I firmly believe that poverty, hunger, all the madness and chaos in the world will dissipate when we can see money as the energy of love. So until next time, have a fabulous week. And I look forward to hearing from you what you think about today's session and what messages money has been sending you. So until then, ciao for now.